Look at your hand right now. Turn it over. Look at the inside of your wrist. See that faint tendon that rises when you touch your pinky to your thumb? About 14% of people don't have it, and you've had yours, or not had it, your entire life without ever wondering why. That tendon is called the palmaris longus. It helped your ancient ancestors grip branches. You don't need it anymore, and your body is slowly, quietly getting rid of it. You are not the finished product of evolution. You are a draft, a living, breathing, sneezing, forgetting draft. And right now, in this exact moment, your species is changing. Most people think evolution is something that happened, something that ended, something in the past, with cave paintings and bones and creatures nothing like you. But evolution never stopped. It doesn't clock out. It doesn't wait for species to go extinct before it gets to work. It is working on you. It worked on your parents. It will work on your children. And the changes happening right now are stranger and more personal than you probably expect. Here's what evolution actually is. It is change over time in the heritable traits of a population. That's it. No goal, no destination, no endpoint. Just change. And change requires variation. Variation requires reproduction. And reproduction, for your species, never stopped. So evolution never stopped either. Biologist Stephen Stearns at Yale spent years documenting this, and what he found should rewire the way you see yourself. Stearns and his colleagues ran a study on thousands of women in Framingham, Massachusetts. They tracked physical traits across generations, and they found it. Real, measurable, ongoing natural selection in a modern human population. Women who were slightly shorter, slightly heavier, with slightly lower blood pressure, and slightly earlier first pregnancies were having more children who survived. Those traits were being passed on. Those traits were becoming more common. The population was shifting, right now, in a direction you can measure. You might push back. You might say that modern medicine has made natural selection irrelevant, that we save everyone now, that no trait leads to death the way it once did, and you'd be partly right. Medicine has loosened the grip of death as a filter, but evolution was never only about death. It was always about reproduction, about who has more surviving children, and that is still happening. It is happening everywhere on Earth, in every human population, right this moment. But here is where it gets stranger. Your body carries evidence of every evolutionary battle your ancestors ever fought, and some of those battles are still going on inside you, right now, at the cellular level. The virus called cytomegalovirus has infected humans for so long that your immune system has evolved specific, dedicated responses to it. Not just general immune responses. Specific ones. Your body has been in an arms race with this virus for hundreds of thousands of years. And that arms race has actually shaped your genome. Shaped you. The virus changed, your ancestors changed in response, the virus changed again. You are the result of millions of rounds of that fight. Your skin color is another example of evolution so recent it should unsettle you. Populations that moved into lower light environments evolved lighter skin within the last 50,000 years. 50,000 years sounds long, but on an evolutionary timescale, that is almost nothing. That is fast. That is running. Geneticist Sarah Tishkoff at the University of Pennsylvania has spent years mapping the genetic diversity of African populations and found that skin color variation within Africa alone is more complex and more recent than most textbooks suggest. Evolution didn't finish with skin color. It is still fine-tuning it based on where populations live and how much ultraviolet radiation their skin encounters every day. Your teeth are shrinking. Right now, across human populations, the jaw is getting smaller and the wisdom teeth are disappearing. About 35% of people today are born without one or more wisdom teeth. That number is rising. Your jaw evolved for a diet of tough, raw, unprocessed food that required enormous chewing force. You cook your food now. You use utensils. The jaw doesn't need to be that powerful anymore. And slowly, generation by generation, it is becoming less so. Some people being born today have no wisdom teeth at all. Their descendants may never develop them at all. Think about what that means for a moment. A tooth that has been part of the human body for millions of years is quietly vanishing, Because your cooking habits changed. Culture drove evolution. Your behavior changed your genome. That is the part most people miss. Evolution isn't only nature in a vacuum. Evolution responds to what populations actually do, how they live, what they eat, where they sleep, who they choose to have children with. Every choice at the population level over enough time bends the arc of what your species becomes. You are not separate from your own evolution. You are actively participating in it every day without knowing it. And yet, knowing it changes something. Biologist Richard Dawkins once wrote that we are survival machines, vehicles built to preserve and propagate genes. But there's a more striking way to say it. You are not an individual who happens to carry genes. You are the gene's way of making more genes. Every quirk of your personality, every feature of your face, every strange fear you can't explain is the output of a system that has been running, iterating, adjusting for billions of years. The fear you feel in the dark, an adaptation from a time when the dark held real predators. The way your heart races before a crowd, the social threat response of a species that died without the group, the reason a baby's cry cuts through you regardless of whether it's yours, a trait favored in populations where hearing and responding to infant distress meant more children survived. These are not flaws. These are not random. They are solutions to ancient problems that no longer exist, preserved in you like letters from the dead. And here is the twist that most people don't sit with long enough. Evolution has no preferred direction. It has no sense of progress. It does not move toward smarter or faster or better. It moves toward reproductively successful. And what that means depends entirely on what environment a population is living in. In an environment with a lot of pathogens, resistance matters more than anything else. In an environment with low sunlight, a body's ability to synthesize vitamin D from pale skin matters more. In an environment with access to hospitals and antibiotics, different things matter. The filter has changed. What gets selected for is changing in real time. So who is winning the evolutionary lottery right now? Stearns and his colleagues made a projection. If current trends in the Framingham population continued for another 10 generations, the average woman would be about 2 centimeters shorter, slightly heavier, with slightly lower cholesterol and slightly earlier menopause. Nothing dramatic. Evolution rarely is on human timescales, but unmistakable. There's something even more recent that should genuinely astonish you: the ability to digest milk as an adult. Lactase persistence, it's called. The ability to keep producing the enzyme lactase past childhood. Most mammals lose it once weaned. For most of human history, you did too. But then, humans domesticated cattle. Then some populations started drinking milk into adulthood. And within the last 10,000 years, lactase persistence spread explosively through populations in Northern Europe and parts of Africa. 10,000 years. That is extraordinarily fast for a genetic change. That is evolution you can almost watch happen, in historical time, driven entirely by a cultural decision to keep animals and drink their milk. You are not a finished product. You are the current version. And just like every version before you, you carry the ghosts of the challenges your ancestors survived, the victories built into your blood, the vestiges of things your body was still testing before it found you weren't going to need them anymore. Look at your wrist again. That tendon, there or not there. A remnant, a trace. Evidence that your body is always editing itself, always in revision, always mid-sentence. You are not where the story ends. You never were. You are simply the latest word in a sentence that started before the first creature crawled out of the water and has not stopped since. And it is still being written, right now, in you.